The MultiPod podcast brings multipotentialites together to discover common interests, projects, and offers in a spirit of community and collaboration. Join me, Ted Craig, as I feature guests from around the world here to share their stories and find meaningful connections. Your call to action? Reach out to them after this episode and say hello. Multipotentialites live unconventional lives by instinct and by design. The MultiPod is here to empower you in living life on your terms. In August of 2024, I was in Minneapolis at the University of Minnesota campus at the Everything Conference, which brought multipotentialites together from all around the world to meet each other in person and to share the experience of being a multipotentialite. It was one of my absolute intentions at the time to go there and capture the experience in audio form for the MultiPod, for our podcast. And it was such an amazing experience to do that, to have great conversations with people, to capture some of the ambiance and just the chit-chat and the spirit, the feel of the event. And that's what I did over the course of that weekend, which became the Everything Conference mini-series, which you can certainly find here in the feed of the podcast of the MultiPod. If you haven't listened to it yet, I highly recommend that you do. In fact, I just went back and listened to it just a few days ago as I was preparing to relaunch the show here, and it really captured exactly what I wanted to, even with the purpose, the intention of it as being something that you would return to a few months later, 6, 8 months, a year, 2 years later, and instantly be taken back to that environment, to that space and that feeling of being there at the conference. And of course, if you weren't there, to still be able to sense that atmosphere and that ambiance again of being around all those wonderful people. That was the whole point. So it was a great experience to do the Everything Conference mini-series. Now, as I'm talking to you here today, it remains the last thing that was recorded for the MultiPod. This podcast has been around since the beginning of 2018. In that time, we have published over 100 episodes, including bonus episodes and, of course, the mini-series there. There's been a wonderful team of people who have participated in putting this show together. It was born out of the Puttyverse, the community for multipotentialites, again, people from all around the world. And this is what really fostered the creation of this podcast, was the amazing, fascinating people that exist in the Puttyverse. The MultiPod podcast was created to get to know them better, to hear their stories and to learn about their interests, most of all to learn about their journey as a multipotentialite, as they came to discover that term, as they recognized it in themselves. In a lot of cases, it's people who basically always knew that that was them, that they did not want to specialize, that they wanted to try different things, that they really, really resisted being put into a box, and that they recoiled from that question of when you meet someone and it's like, so what do you do? Well, we don't know. We do all kinds of things. We change jobs all the time. We've got multiple degrees and we do it very intentionally. It's really hard when you're not around people who don't understand that. So conversely, when you're around people who do get it, then you find the Puttyverse, and then you find the MultiPod as well. It's really here to profile and celebrate that mindset and help people feel that they're not alone. So as I wrapped up the Everything Conference mini-series there last summer, I came out of that bursting with enthusiasm and energy and motivation that I was going to do something, take this podcast to the next level and keep growing it and see who else we can connect with and really make the most of this platform. The team that has helped put together the show over all those years has slowly drifted apart. Of course, people find other interests and go off and do different things. And really, in the end, it was pretty much just myself. But I felt, that's okay. That kind of gave me the permission and the chance to, take it to the next level and do something else, something different with this show, and to build on that foundation that's been there, that's existed since the beginning of 2018, where at the time, in 2024, it was into 7 years. So I approached Joel Zaslofsky, who runs the Puttyverse, and said, what would you think if the MultiPod was no longer so directly associated with the Puttyverse, that really became something independent? on its own, free to pursue different paths, different kind of partnerships, opportunities, programming. Essentially, who knows? We would just really be free to set our own agenda. And he said, great. He said, I've been waiting for you to do this for years. So it is wonderful of him. We've always really, really deeply appreciated the support of Joel and the Puttyverse in making the show a reality. So that was all in the fall of last year of 2024. And I promptly sat on that idea for the following 8 months. So why didn't I do anything about it? Well, it's a classic multipotentialite problem or challenge or an issue. It's the fear of commitment, as far as I'm concerned, that I wanted to do the thing. I remained as motivated and ostensibly as excited about it as ever, but was I ready to make that commitment? Was I ready to launch into full-on podcast production schedule and commitment? This time doing it by myself, and I'm busy doing lots of other podcast production work. Was I ready? What would it take to be ready to do the thing? And I find that there's times when I like to wait for spontaneity. I like to wait for a kind of an organic moment when you feel like, okay, I'm ready to go, and just the inspiration jumps at you, kind of like what happened for sure, or it almost happened back in August of last year. I was excited and ready to go, and you don't even think twice about it. You of course you're going to make that commitment. If you don't jump on it, and sometimes that makes sense, but if you don't jump on it, then time goes by, other things come up, other ideas, other projects, busy work and life for sure, and well, it just kind of fades away, doesn't it? So the challenge was to get that motivation back. Now, the thing that's been the catalyst for restarting this podcast in a new form, in a different format, is a new podcast network. This is called the Bold Departure Podcast Network. It's born out of a group of friends from the Location Indie community. And we all have podcasts, or a couple of people are starting podcasts, but all around a very similar themes, such as travel and lifestyle design, a bit of entrepreneurship for sure, but mostly around that theme of having control over your time, of your life choices, how you spend your life. And we all have podcasts that revolve around that basic topic and theme. So we thought, well, why not start a podcast network about it? It's a great idea to do some cross-promotion. We can go on each other's shows. We can refer people to each other's shows and all that kind of stuff. And who knows what kind of exciting opportunities will come from that in the future, hopefully in the near future. So when that idea started to come about over the winter of 2024 here, 25, and then I could see coming, well, this makes a lot more sense now as timing to restart the MultiPod. It makes sense, and the audience is there. There's purpose for it now, and it feels right. But it also means that it's a new show. There's going to be some changes. The most substantial one is, if you're watching this right now, you'll see, because the MultiPod is now a video podcast. We are still doing audio, but I'm also recording and posting the video, which means all of the bits and pieces of putting video together. It's going on our new YouTube channel, and let me tell you, that is a whole new experience. Now, I'm an audio guy. I've been doing audio podcasting since I started doing this show back in 2018. And I love it. I love the atmosphere of audio and how you can kind of shape the imagery and the impressions that people have in their mind as they listen to a conversation, as people in that conversation or maybe in a certain place, and you're kind of forming images, right? And that's all based on audio because you don't have any other visual references aside from maybe what's being described in the audio form. And of course, it's a very practical and versatile format too. You can listen in your car while you're driving, while you're going for a walk or cooking or whatever it is. You don't have to sit down and watch a podcast. So why am I doing video? Well, podcasting's evolving for sure, and there's more and more people doing video, and of course you're hearing lots of stuff about, oh, you have to do video, and it makes sense to be on YouTube and people have to see you. Well, there's certainly an element of truth to that. When you have video, then people see expressions, they see the body language, they see that nonverbal communication, and it really helps to build more of that connection with the people that are on the show. So in our case, it's a classic host, and then we'll have guests, and you can see what we look like and really make that association. So the option is there. Now, one thing I've really found myself, at least over the last few months, is that there's a podcast that I listen to, and if they both produce video and audio of the same episode, but there's a video version, you can go and watch it on YouTube if you want. If you have that time, if you have the chance to sit down and watch the show, go for it, which I do sometimes. But then there's other times when, again, I'm driving or doing something else, or I really want to listen to it at like a fast speed, and I prefer the audio version because I can be walking around and doing other things and listening to the audio instead of having to sit down and watch it. So it's as much about choice these days and giving viewers/listeners the option of how they want to consume a podcast episode. So that's largely why I'm doing it in video format now. It's also good practice. Now, I've done a fair bit of video stuff myself over the last few years, often as a guest or maybe a co-host or something like that, but it's a different experience for me hosting something on video and really thinking hard about what I want to say and getting my thoughts clear and trying to minimize the amount of editing, of course, and tidying up and just really embracing this platform of being on camera and being conscious of what I look like and what I'm wearing in the background, the lighting and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's good skills to have and it's good practice. So I hope that you enjoy this new experience of the MultiPod. It's definitely something new. Now, I will say that when it comes to our guests, they won't necessarily all be video. I'm very, very conscious and cognizant that some people are much more comfortable without the camera on, or at least without publishing the video, and I very much respond to that. I get it. So you will likely see some episodes from time to time here that still are posted to YouTube, but they'd only be audio. You'll see the image of the show, the cover art kind of thing, and there won't be a video attached to it. But of course, you can always still listen on YouTube, not to mention just go back to your favorite podcast app and you can find us there. So it's really just giving that option for video as much as possible. The most important change, though, to the MultiPod now is that this is a much more intentional show in terms of what we want people to get out of it. I'm really emphasizing connectivity and helping people connect and contact each other. So when people come on this show now as guests, I talk to them beforehand, of course, and I say, when you come on the show, I want you to have something, some way that you want to connect with others, some topic you want to connect with them about. Now, that could be you have a business and you have certain offers, products, services, whatever it is, and you want to get that out there and have interaction and connect people with those offers. And really that means more than just, having sales or a new client, which of course is great, but I want to see more than just people buying the thing. I'd like to see them reach out and talk to the person who's offering that thing and say, I really like your thing, or here's some feedback, here's some thoughts, and getting to know them. So whether it's business related, or of course, it could be other kinds of interests, passions, and hobbies. Let's say you've just stumbled into something that's brand new, that's piqued your interest, and you've gone this deep dive, the last few weeks into maybe watercolor painting or surfing, or honestly, it could be anything. And that's the beauty of multipotentialites and the people that identify this, is that we really, really dive deep into our passions and interests, whether they're brand new or whether they've been around for a decade or more. So if that's the case of the guest, they come on the show and they share the thing that they're really passionate about. As a listener, well, if that piques your interest, you say, well, I love that thing too. This is your chance. I really, really, really encourage people to reach out, send an email, send a message. We always share how to do that, to let the guests know that you're out there. We want the guests to connect with the listeners and vice versa. So there's a real intentional angle now to this podcast. There's a call to action to help people connect with each other, reach out and make those connections. So it kind of goes both ways in a sense. It starts with a guest, comes on the show, and shares the things they're interested in, the things they have to offer. Then it comes back to the listener to respond to that and say, great, that really speaks to me, and I'm going to reach out to that person to let them know I exist and that I love to connect and talk with them more. Now, in order to do all that, the MultiPod has some new assets, let's call them. We have a new website. It's themultipod.com. Amazingly, the domain name was available and I snapped it up. So building a new website, the fundamentals are there. We have the archives of this show. You can still go back and find all of those 111 episodes, full episodes that we've done over, now we're into 8 years since we started this show. There's, again, a number of bonus episodes. There's the Everything Conference mini-series, and you can find that there on the website. There's also a spreadsheet for now, and we'll kind of see how we can evolve that into something as dynamic and easy to navigate as possible so that you can find some of those guests, you can find past episodes. It's easy to get that contact info, and you can reach out and follow through. So that's part of the website as well, the archive of episodes and the new episodes that come out. And then we'll also have a guest application form. If all of this speaks to you, if you're listening saying, I'd love to share my story, there's something I really want to talk to people about, a new interest, a new passion, I'm trying to get maybe some, of course, new customers or some beta testers or things like this for my business, whatever happens to be, well, you can go to the website. There's a guest application form. It's simple and easy to fill out. Let us know you're out there. Let us know you exist and what you want to talk about. And, of course, we'll be in touch and, we'll set up a recording date and go from there. There's even a spreadsheet of topics, too, so that gives us a little bit of direction if we need it for conversations of kind of topics and themes that we can revolve around as well, things that really relate to the reality of being multipotentialites and how we navigate this life and, go through our day-to-day and make these commitments and be around others who don't quite understand and quite get it. So there's some philosophical, deeper topics that we can also get into, and you're welcome to choose one of those and pitch that if you would like to come on the show as well. Our email address still exists, the one that's been there for years, but we're going to lean into that some more. If you do want to reach out to me, to the show, and of course leave us some feedback and some comments, again, you can pitch yourself as a guest. The multipodcast@gmail.com. The multipodcast@gmail.com is the email address for the show. The multipod.com is the website address for the show. And all that's in the show notes, of course. The description for this episode is all easy to find, and we hope to hear from you. And yes, I will be doing more on social media, which is not something I've ever really gravitated towards, but I guess it comes back to, pushing our boundaries a bit, and maybe I'll start to enjoy it more now that I have something to really talk about, let's be honest, because, there's fascinating people that are going to come on this show that have already come, and we can talk about, some of our past guests too, of course, the episodes that are coming up. But fundamentally, I want to share the people, share their story, share what they have to offer and their interests, and social media, of course, is the way to do that as much as anything. So Instagram, I'm going to use my own profile. It's just Ted Cragg or Ted Cragg Podcasting. If you like, you can find me on Instagram, and I'll be sharing some clips from the show and announcements of new episodes. And lastly, the MultiPod now has a sponsor, Quick Edit Podcast, which, yes, is my podcast production business. I love chatting with people about podcasting. It's really all about the ideas and the things you want to talk about and how we can shape those ideas and kind of break it down into various themes and structures. We talk about the delivery and the production and all the ways that you can put a podcast together, whether it's weekly episodes, monthly episodes, short seasons, short form podcasts. There's lots of different options out there. And really, as multipotentialites, anything that's manageable is really something that speaks to us as far as projects go. So when it comes to podcasting, consider doing a seasonal show, considering doing some of these short form ideas, and it really might help you get started or do something that you can sustain. Be happy to talk to you about that, so you can visit quickeditpodcast.com, or of course there's whole numerous ways to reach out and find me, and we can chat some more about your ideas. So this is what I'm calling the relaunch of the MultiPod. After all these years and a fairly long break, we've never been away for this long, like 8 months, break between publishing episodes. But it's time. It's nice to be back. I'm ready. I think I know my guests are ready. I've got a couple interviews that are coming out immediately on this relaunch, and some more that have already been recorded, and lots more lined up after that. So I'm excited. I think people are excited. It's a great way to bring people together with that common interest, that common identity of multipotentiality, and to really help people support each other, to discover each other, to see the things they have in common, and how they can help each other out. That's what this podcast is for, discovering who's out there, fascinating people, learning their stories, and spreading the word. So thanks for being here. I appreciate your time. I know how much stuff is out there these days. There's all kinds of content. There's all kinds of ideas and shows. And It's all over the place, and I do appreciate people taking the time to get to know our guests and explore the lives of multipotentialites. So thank you for being here, and I'm excited. Let's get into some new episodes. Thanks to my guests today for sharing their story and what they're up to. You can find all the links and resources that we talked about in the description for this episode. Really don't hesitate to reach out and make that contact. Now you know that they exist, they need to know that you're out there too. A simple email or message can suffice. Or send a more substantial message if there's something that really jumped out for you. The MultiPod has a new website, themultipod.com. Here you'll find the archives of the podcast in its previous form, all 111 episodes, a number of bonus episodes, and our Everything Conference mini-series, as well as the new episodes and the resources therein as they are released. Over time, we'll build it out for the best searchability and referencing possible so you can easily find who you're looking for. But a nice spreadsheet will suffice for now. The website also has a new guest application form. Let us know what topic or topics you would like to connect with people about, and we will set up a recording. As a guest, this is your primary task. Come prepared. Like all podcasts, the MultiPod will thrive thanks to sharing, reviews, subscribing, and commenting if you're on YouTube, and just generally getting the word out to multipotentialites that this resource exists. So help us spread our reach and create more opportunities and exposure for everyone. You can reach me at themultipodcast@gmail.com. That's themultipodcast@gmail.com. Or again, the website is simply themultipod.com. New episodes will be out on the 1st and 15th of every month. Thanks so much for taking the time to be with us today, and we'll see you again soon.